Well, research shows that the skin-to-skin, the first hour, is amazing what it does for mom and for baby. For the baby, it stabilizes their heart rate and their respiratory rate. It keeps them warmer, so therefore their blood sugar remains more stable. The benefits for mom is even shown that she feels less pain when baby is skin-to-skin. So whether our moms are breastfeeding or formula feeding, we want our moms and babies skin-to-skin for that first hour or as long as desired by mom.
Back when we were separating babies, the baby would be placed to the breast to see if the baby would breastfeed. And we did find that babies wrapped in a bundle kind of thought they were still inside and they weren't really stimulated to be able to latch on and do a great feeding. And that's critical for the baby that's just learning how to breastfeed, that it gets a couple of good feedings under its belt to get it through that time that it's recovering from the birthing process. How do you change a culture that has always done something the same way? So the first thing is I wanted to ensure we were getting a full hour when we got skin to skin, saying, okay, we'll let the nurses do their things, but once that baby's on there, the baby stays there for 60. Times in the chart told me exactly when the baby was placed skin to skin, and I began tracking that change to say, okay, it took us 20 minutes, and then I said, let's try to cut that in half. And we built it into contests and had fun with it. And we're continuing to work it down. This isn't a change that just happens immediately. It is a change over time. And as our time shortened, actually our rates of exclusive breastfeeding increased.
We definitely had to get buy-in from the charge nurses. They've had to go through a lot of training and a lot of practice, learning how to do all of their initial assessments with the baby skin to skin.
We've taken our nursery staff down to labor and delivery, and those nurses had to get accustomed to seeing the newborn right after delivery, which is a completely different kid than the kiddo at 1 or 2 hours old.
One of the challenges that we see is that our families who have just had a baby want their families to hold the baby. And then the grandparents and the aunts and the uncles and the friends are all coming in and they want to hold that baby. And it's so important for that first hour for that baby to be just with the mom in that skin to skin.
Skin-to-skin contact helps women who have a cesarean delivery feel better involved in the process of birthing, and also they have more attachment to their baby. Women feel strongly that this has made it a better experience for them, and that's, clearly what this is about.
Whether a mom delivers vaginally or by C-section, whether she's breastfeeding or formula feeding, that time together the first hour will help her start to recognize her baby's feeding cues. We do encourage our dads to do skin to skin also, because research shows those babies at 6 months and at 12 months, they do better on developmental tests the more skin to skin they have. It's so important that when you're doing all that skin to skin, that you're making certain that you're doing safe skin to skin.
Breastfeeding within the first hour after delivery helps build that mom's confidence. It helps the baby to get to the breast. It helps them to get that colostrum, that first immunization that they need to help jumpstart their immune system. And mom and baby start building a relationship that they can work on for the rest of their lives.
We have had several moms that have delivered in previous years that have come in and experienced the whole skin to skin back in OR and recovery room and transition, and they ask us, why didn't I get to do this with my other baby? And we're so thankful that we're able to provide this service to them now, because it has made the world of difference in their experience.